The really cool thing about it is it's such a close comp that it really pleasantly surprises our consumers, especially those who have tried to eat alternative pastas before and have been really disappointed.
My friend Bryan Guadagno is with us today. This is going to be such a fun conversation. Bryan is the CEO and co-founder of a very exciting company. It's called it'sskinny.com. And they produce some of the most amazing gluten-free products that I've tried in years. So we're going to talk to Bryan and learn a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes at it'sskinny.com and how you can access and get your hands on some really delicious gluten-free products that may be a game changer for you. Bryan, so good to see you. Thanks for joining me today on C60 Health Connections.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jess.
Bryan, tell us a little bit about your background and how did you become so passionate about creating gluten-free products?
Yeah, sure. So I had a gut issue in 2014, stemmed from stress and from the way that I was eating. And I was really just not super knowledgeable about the way that I was consuming food. When I had that gut issue, I met a doctor who advised that I go paleo, and I didn't know what that meant at the time. So I started reading up on it. I went paleo for about a year. I cured my gut issue, and that was the genesis of what I call my healthy eating journey. And obviously, I've learned a lot more over the years. And then also just meeting my wife, who is far more passionate about it than even I am, and learning from her also.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about it'sskinny.com. You guys specialize in creating gluten-free pastas and rice from something that until I met you, I had never heard of konjac. I had no idea what it was. And it's a little bit of a mystery to me why those of us in the US have no idea this delicious root vegetable exists. Will you tell us a little bit about it and how you came to discover konjac?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so konjac is a root vegetable. It grows in East Asia predominantly. It's a 3-year harvest, and really to this point, it hasn't been palatable by a lot of consumers in the Western world, and a lot of that is because it has a slimy odor or slimy texture, a fishy odor when it's traditionally produced. But so we really wanted to make it more approachable to consumers, and now it's starting to gain a lot more attention in the United States.
Would you say it's widely consumed in Southeast Asia?
The size of the market globally for konjac right now is probably a little over a billion, and here in the United States, we represent less than 100 million of that.
Okay, wow. Well, the cool thing about konjac, which I did not know until I tried your products, is that it's zero net carbs, it's
Mhm.
low glycemic,
Yep.
it's high in fiber. You've only got 4 ingredients in here, which is pretty amazing, and only like 9 calories. So for somebody who is a fan of Italian dishes and you want to consume pasta and rice, but you've gone gluten free, this is a really uh, wonderful product to incorporate into your menu because you can go back to enjoying the foods that so many of us enjoyed before we decided to go on a gluten free journey.
That's part of the benefit of it, right?
Yeah.
The whole point is to celebrate what's on top, not get the empty carbs or the gluten from the regular pasta, and really be able to enjoy it, right?
Mhm.
And feel light when you're eating it.
That's great. I understand that a lot of athletes are attracted to your product, and that a lot of people who are seeking different ways to lose weight are also attracted to your product. So, can you just tell us a little bit about how it'sskinny.com is helping people take back control over their weight and support their metabolism as well?
It's no secret that if you're not eating and digesting food, that your metabolism is going to slow down. And we want to support healthy consumption of the right kinds of foods, the right kinds of macronutrients. So when people are cutting, I mean, in the bodybuilding community, there's often times when you've hit your macro goal and you can't have any more carbs, and but you're still kind of hungry and you want a little bit more protein. Well, this is a great opportunity to throw on, a low carb meat sauce, have a nice hearty dish of pasta. You're filling up your stomach. You're getting, some more protein, and you're not getting the carbs that really go with eating a lot of pasta. If you are trying to lose weight, and you're trying to limit your carbohydrate intake, it's perfect. And then also just a lot of consumers nowadays want low glycemic options, so things that are low carbohydrate that don't spike their blood sugar. Um, I mean, sugar is such, I think, an overused part of the American diet. So having something that is not giving you excess sugar from the carbohydrates is a plus.
Yeah, this is great. It's also organic. So, and you've got a product that's non-GMO, which is really important these days. You mentioned it's paleo, keto, vegan, kosher, and gluten-free as well.
Yeah.
Where can people find this? Do they need to go to your website? Should they go to Amazon, or can they get it at the grocery store?
Depending on where they are, you can get in the grocery store. We have a store finder on our website. We're in about 6,000 stores nationwide. And Amazon on our website always works well. We're on Walmart.com, a couple other digital outlets, and Kroger.com. And yeah, so you should be able to get us most places. You shouldn't have a problem finding it.
Okay, great. Well, this is pretty exciting. You are so generous to our audience, but as I understand, if they go to your website, it's skinny.com, and use the checkout code C60POD, you can get 25% off your first order. And
Yep.
if you guys want to try all of the products, I recommend getting Bryan's variety 6-pack of the pre-cooked, ready to twirl and eat organic pastas and rice. He's got fettuccine, angel hair pasta, rice, and spaghetti. So for those of you out there who love Italian food, check out itsskinny.com and let us know what you think. We're big fans. And Bryan, it's not just about like being in the gluten-free space, but it's also your dedication to excellence, which is something that really resonates with us, in terms of the quality ingredients, the limited ingredients, and the natural ingredients that you're putting in here. And you've also taken something that on the other side of the planet, people are readily using and consuming every day, and you've made it more palatable for the US consumer here. And we're really excited to have connected with you because at C60 Power, we're constantly exploring different ways to improve our health and improve our diet, and support our healthy journey, and that we're all on, quite frankly. So as you've changed your diet over the years and you've learned more about your body, do you have any words of advice for listeners out there who might just be starting to develop an awareness that something could be wrong with their gut health? And having a background as an investment banker in a previous life, you were kind of a corporate hard charging individual, and you're doing something new and different now, but it was like your health that inspired you to make this big pivot, which impacted your entire life. So like I said, any words of advice for people who are just starting on this journey and thinking about like how important their gut health might be?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest shift is to try to eat so that you feel good instead of so that things taste good. That's
Mm.
probably the biggest shift that you can make, if you could try to focus on the way that the foods are making you feel. And then beyond that, you're gonna make mistakes and you're not gonna be perfect, and you might go down a spiral of all the bad things that you might be consuming, but the stress about it is worse than what you might be eating in that moment. So don't stress about it, just do your best and try to eat so that you feel good instead of for taste.
That's great. Do you have any recommendations for folks that they're going to go out, they're going to buy at skinny.com? What types of sauces or recipes might you recommend? Just traditional marinara, or like what's the best
Yeah,
on your
you know,
products?
you know something, I think that's a preference. That's a consumer preference that I won't influence, but we have a ton of really good recipes on our website. We have a whole recipe section dedicated to it. We have really cool videos on it. So I would say go to itsskinny.com/recipes and find something that strikes your fancy.
In terms of the feedback that you get from your customers, what's kind of typical feedback after people try to incorporate It's Skinny pasta into their regular menu? What do they end up sharing with you about their experience?
Well, I think if anyone has ever tried to eat alternative pasta, they have had to sacrifice considerably. And the biggest bit of feedback that we get is that they are incredibly surprised by how close it is to regular pasta. So I mean that's super encouraging to us. I mean, I do it with a bolognese sauce. I put rice in bone broth. The rice is really good in a stir fry. Um, and we get consistent feedback along those lines. Some people like the fettuccine noodles. They think that's the closest comp to regular pasta. I personally like the angel hair and the spaghetti. So, and my dad likes the rice. So I think it's totally open to preference. But the really cool thing about it is it's such a close comp, um, that it really pleasantly surprises our consumers, especially those who have tried to eat alternative pastas before and have been really disappointed.
Well, if you guys are on the gluten-free path and you want to try it out, I highly recommend It's Skinny Pasta. Go visit Bryan and his team at itsskinnypasta.com. And again, when you check out, feel free to use the coupon code C60POD for 25% off your first order. And I think you will love it. Bryan, thanks so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate your time.